Hello everyone, Darren from DrayTek Australia and New Zealand. This webinar is the first part of a two-part series looking at firewall and security features in DrayTek DrayOS 5 routers, focusing on the Vigor 2136 router, but this will apply to other DrayOS 5 routers such as the Vigor C510 series. Today we'll cover 5 topics, which are understanding firewall filters, how to create IP filters, content filters, and default firewall filters. And we'll finish up by showing how to back up and restore the firewall filters. Before we get into it, let's take a look at what a firewall is and what firewall filters are. A firewall is a security device or software used to monitor and control incoming and outgoing network traffic based on predetermined security rules. Its primary purpose is to create a barrier between a trusted internal network and untrusted external networks such as the internet. Firewalls help protect computers and networks from unauthorized access, attacks, and other security threats. They can filter traffic based on various criteria, including IP addresses, protocols, and ports. There are different types of firewalls, such as network firewalls, which protect entire networks, and host-based firewalls, which protect individual devices. By selectively allowing or blocking traffic, firewalls play a crucial role in maintaining network integrity and safeguarding sensitive information. Firewalls are usually the first line of defense to protect a network. As illustrated here, they establish a barrier between the internet and the devices on your network. It's important to remember that firewalls cannot protect against viruses coming from infected media, such as an infected Office document that a staff member might bring in on a USB flash drive. This will circumvent any security measures you have in place and requires antivirus software installed on PCs to minimize this risk. So, what is a firewall filter? It's a network security mechanism that controls the flow of incoming and outgoing traffic according to created rules. It inspects data packets attempting to enter or exit a network and decides whether to allow, block, or accept them based on criteria such as IP addresses, protocols, ports, and other header information. To summarize, a network firewall plays a critical role in securing traffic between networks by selectively allowing or blocking data based on predefined security rules. This helps maintain network integrity, preventing unauthorized access, and protecting sensitive information. In DrayOS 5 routers, firewalls provide robust protection through key features that include a user configurable IP filter, data filter, which allows customized traffic filtering for enhanced control. Stateful Packet Inspection, SPI, which tracks data packets and blocks unsolicited incoming traffic. DOS and DDoS protection, which offers selectable safeguards against denial of service and distributed denial of service attacks. These features ensure comprehensive security for LAN users while maintaining efficient network performance. Let's explore these in a little more detail. The data filter inspects all incoming and outgoing traffic that does not initiate a PPP connection attempt. This includes cases where a PPP connection is not required or a PPP connection is already active. Traffic is then either allowed or blocked based on the configured rules, ensuring enhanced control and security. The next feature is stateful inspection. This is a firewall architecture designed to operate at the network layer. Unlike traditional static packet filtering, which only examines packet headers, stateful inspection uses a state machine to track the status of each connection across all firewall interfaces, ensuring they are valid and secure. The stateful firewall in Vigor routers goes a step further by not only analyzing packet headers, but also monitoring the state of each connection for enhanced security and reliability. And denial of service defense, which is generally abbreviated to DOS. Denial of service attacks can be categorized into 2 types: flooding type, which aims to exhaust system resources, and vulnerability type, which exploits system or protocol weaknesses. DrayTek's DOS defense helps detect and mitigate these attacks. It inspects every incoming packet, blocking any malicious ones. If the syslog is enabled, it will send alerts for suspicious activity. Additionally, abnormal traffic flow like flood or port scan attacks that exceed defined thresholds will be blocked to prevent damage. We'll go into more detail on denial of service in our next webinar. Some of the attack types that DOS DDoS defense function can detect are Number 1, SYN flood attack. Number 2, UDP flood attack. 3, ICMP flood attack. 4, port scan attack. 5, IP options. 6, land attack. 7, Smurf attack. 8, trace route. 9, SYN fragment. 10, Fraggle attack. 11, TCP flag scan. 12, teardrop attack. 13, ping of death attack. 14, ICMP fragment. And 15, unassigned numbers. In DrayOS 5 routers, we now have the security menu option where various security parameters can be configured, which include firewall filters, defense setup, MAC filtering profile, and IPv6 address security. Today we'll just focus on the first menu item, firewall filters. Now that we have an idea of what a firewall filter is and where to find it in the router configuration menu, let's have a look at how to set these up in a DrayOS 5 router. The first step is to go to the Security, Firewall Filters, IP Filters menu page in the router and click on +add to add the IP filter rule. Now enter a name for the profile and make sure it's enabled. The IP filter rules can be always on so they apply at all times, or scheduled so that they only work at specific times. Then specify the direction of traffic flow to which this filter rule applies. This can be either LAN to WAN outbound, WAN to LAN inbound, or LAN VPN to LAN VPN internal. You can also enable and specify the LAN, VPN and WAN interface if needed. If enabled, specify the interfaces for the traffic flow. Source interface, select the LAN VPN interface or interfaces. Destination interface, select the WAN interfaces. You need to also select the source and destination IP address, as well as the source and destination port number, protocol and fragment options. The fragment options are, don't care, no action will be taken towards the fragmented packets. Fragmented, apply the rule to fragmented packets. Unfragmented, apply the rule to unfragmented packets. Too short, apply the rule only to packets that are too short to contain a complete header. Under action, you can select either pass or block the packets. To allow the packet to pass, an additional option called bypass content filter can be enabled. If enabled, the packet will bypass content filtering and execute actions directly. If disabled, the packet will go to your content filtering rules next. You can also enable syslog for the IP filters, which can help in monitoring and troubleshooting. Let's go through a configuration example where we configure the VIGA2136 firewall to block FTP traffic for LAN clients. First, go to Security, Firewall Filters, IP Filter menu and click +add to set up a new filter. Give the filter a name, for example, Block FTP, and make sure it's enabled. You have the option to schedule when the filter rule should be active, but for this demonstration we'll set it as always on. Next, set the direction of the traffic to LAN to WAN. For the source and destination, we select any. For the protocol, select Service Object and then click +add to create the object. Look for the FTP protocol and select it. Set the action to block. Enable the syslog option to record logs for the filter. And there's our new IP filter created, which will restrict FTP service from LAN clients. Okay, let's have a look at another configuration example where we configure the VIGA2136 firewall to block traffic from LAN 1 to LAN 2, but allow traffic in the reverse direction. So go to Security, Firewall Filters, IP Filters again, and click +add. Give it a name. Make sure it's enabled. Set a schedule if you want one, but once again we'll leave it as always on for this rule. Direction this time is LAN to LAN. Enable specify interface to define the LANs to be involved. In this example, we'll use LAN 1 as the source interface and LAN 2 as the destination interface. For the protocol, select any, which applies the rule to all types of traffic. You can also configure the fragment option for specific scenarios that we discussed earlier. Finally, set the action to block to deny traffic between the specified LANs. Enable the syslog and click Apply to Save. And done. So now we're blocking all traffic from LAN 1 to LAN 2 effectively, but not the other way around. Okay, let's take a look at how to create content filters. The content filter includes APPE, URL filter, and WCF servers. APPE filters by a defined pattern. URL and WCF filters filter the servers to connect to by examining the server name in DNS request packets or TLS client hello packets. It allows configuring up to 40 content filter profiles. It will then perform the payload content analysis for the packets in each session, that is, LAN to WAN, based on the filter profiles defined until it finds a content filter that matches. To create a content filter, go to Security, Firewall Filters, Content Filters, and click on +Add. First, give the profile a name and ensure it's enabled. Just like the IP filter, it can be set as always on or scheduled for a specific time. The direction will always be LAN to WAN for content filtering. You can also specify the LAN interface so that the filter only applies to a certain LAN. Next, you need to select which source IP address will be applying the content filters. These can be an IPv4 address or subnet, or an IPv6 address or subnet. For destination, choose the APPE or WCF option you would like the content filter to apply to. There's a huge number of apps to choose from, and towards the bottom of the list you'll find the WCF selections. Note that the APPE service is free, but if you want to use the WCF as well, you'll need to get a WCF license. It's a subscription-based license renewed annually. We have a video covering this, and I'll include a link to it in the description below. Select the action to determine whether the filter will allow or block the packet. You can also enable a keyword exception, where the system will check the session against the selected keyword profiles. If the session matches the keyword filter profile, the system will reverse the action. Enabling syslog option will record the filter log into syslog. Let's have a look at another configuration example where we configure the Vigor 2136 firewall to block access to YouTube. First, we need to set up a keyword object for YouTube. Go to Configuration Objects, Keyword Object. Then click +Add. Give it a name, we'll call it YouTube. Then click +Add here again to add a keyword. Here we'll add youtube.com. Then +Add again for ytimg.com. And +Add again for googlevideo.com. Then click Apply to save. Next, go to Security, Firewall Filters, Content Filters, and click +Add to set up a new filter. Give it a name. Let's run with Block YouTube so we can see at a glance what this rule does. Make sure it's enabled. Schedule will leave as always on, but you could set a schedule so it only applies during business hours, for example. Direction is LAN to WAN and can't be changed. For the source, select any. For the destination, select the YouTube keyword object we just created. Set the action to block. If you enable keyword exception, the system will check the session against the selected keyword profile and reverse the action if the session matches the keyword exception filter profile. Enable the syslog option to record logs if you want that, and click Apply to save. And there's our keyword filter profile to block YouTube. Now let's look at how to create a default data filter. Traffic is filtered by firewall functions in the following order. Data filter sets and rules, the first step in the firewall's filtering process, where data is examined based on predefined filter sets and rules. Block connections initiated from WAN. This rule ensures that the connections coming from the WAN side, the wide area network, are blocked, protecting the internal network from external threats. Default rule, the final step where the traffic that is not specifically addressed by the previous filters or rules is handled by the default rule. Additionally, there are options to choose from various filtering profiles, including QoS, quality of service, managing and prioritizing data traffic, load balance policy, distributing traffic across multiple connections for better performance, WCF, web content filter, filtering web content to block access to unwanted sites, app enforcement, enforcing application level filtering rules, URL content filter, blocking or allowing access to specific URLs. Finally, the default rule is applied to all traffic that is not constrained by other filters or rules, ensuring that no data is left unprocessed. To set up the default filters, go to Security, Firewall Filters, Default Filters. The first step is to set up the default action for the outbound traffic, LAN to WAN. You can also enable the content filter default rule. For example, if you want to block Facebook by default, then select Block on the content filter default rule and choose Facebook APPE as the content destination. Next is to set up the inbound traffic, that's WAN to LAN. You can block or allow fragmented large packets. Certain games and video streaming services use fragmented UDP packets to transfer data. Pass means the router will always pass fragmented packets without reassembling them, regardless of the size of the packet. Block means the router will attempt to reassemble fragmented packets up to a certain size. Any packets larger than this specified value will be discarded. IPv4 routing connections. Pass, enabling this option, prevents WAN hosts from connecting to LAN hosts for LAN hosts receiving WAN IPv4 addresses via the IP routed subnet. This does not affect LAN hosts on private subnets. Block blocks LAN hosts from connecting to WAN hosts using IPv4. IPv6 routing connections. Pass, since IPv6 doesn't use NAT, all LAN hosts receive public IPv6 addresses, exposing them to the WAN. Block blocks WAN hosts from connecting to LAN hosts using IPv6. Let's finish off by looking at how to backup and restore firewall filters. This option is available under the Backup and Restore tab in the Security Firewall Filters menu page. To back up the firewall filters, go to Security Firewall Filters and click on the Backup and Restore tab. Here we can select IP filters, content filters, and default filters. You can choose one of those or all of them. Let's run with all, then just click on the backup button that appears. The files will save to your PC in the default downloads location. To restore filter rules, click on the folder icon and click the backed up file. Select the file, then click on the Restore button. Then we get a progress bar, and a green OK pop-up appears when the process is completed. So to summarise, today we briefly looked at firewall filters in DrayOS 5 routers. We started by looking at understanding firewall filters in DrayOS 5 routers, and then we looked at how to create IP filters, content filters, and default filters. We finished by looking at how to backup and restore firewall filters. Alright, that's all for now, but please stay tuned. We'll be answering questions in the live chat on the right of your screen for the next 5 minutes. For more information about DrayTek products, please check out our website at www.draytek.com.au or send us an email to sales@draytek.com.au or give us a call on 02 9838 8899. Please like and subscribe below, and if you'd like a notification anytime we put up a new video, please select all from the subscribe drop-down menu as well. Thanks and bye for now.